Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am your host, the notorious H.I.M, and I am back with another BDSP Wi-Fi battle. I just wanted to thank you guys so much for the support on the last video. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. I greatly appreciate it. That last video blew up. It's now the most viewed video on my channel, so I definitely appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. I got a battle against a great battler from the Discord server. I think he goes by Viradu, if I'm not mispronouncing that, so I apologize. But we had a battle a couple nights before this one, and I wasn't recording at the time. He wanted to be featured on the channel, and I'm much obliged. If anytime I face somebody from Discord who wants to be featured on the channel and I'm recording, win or lose, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna put that battle up. So here it is for you guys. It's a pretty interesting battle. He has a pretty interesting team. I decide to lead with Flygon here because obviously, if you see my last video, you know that Flygon is my fastest mon on my team, right? He is the choice scarf, and he leads off with the ferret here, which is the frisk, so you can see that. So my play here is to U-turn. I am faster than this thing, so he's gonna have to hard switch unless he wants to take a lot of damage, from this. And luckily for him, he has some pretty good switches. So he brings in the fortress here. So I do get off this U-turn, and obviously you can see it does very little damage, right? It probably does like 4% to this big bulky fortress, and there's not much I can really do to this thing. So my play is to bring in the Charizard just to kind of threaten this thing out. Obviously, he knows that if I go for Flamethrower here, he's not gonna live it. So you don't really want to mess with that, especially with a Charizard. I mean, you don't really know what you're gonna expect. So I fully expect him to switch out here. So that's why I go for the air slash. If he stays in, I mean, he's ballsy as hell, bro. And I commend it if he did, if he stayed in and went for like a volt switch or something. But he ends up going out into the Gastrodon, and this Gastrodon obviously is a special defensive mon, and look at that work, right? This is so thick. As you'll be able to see later on in this battle, his defensive core is so hard to break. I have a real tough time doing that. So I can't stay in with Charizard, right? Like, I can't risk the Scald. I can't risk that kind of damage on the Charizard. So I decided to go out here. And normally I would probably just go out into, Cradily here to eat this. But obviously he's packing the ice cream and he fully expects me to do that. But I ended up going out into Ursaring. You ain't Grizz the Ursaring. Just to try to use this, right? Like, that was the thing with the last battle with this team, is it's hard for me to kind of use Ursaring. I'm probably going to use this team a couple more times just to, get in the groove of using Ursaring, but it's pretty hard to use. So I end up, trying to get as much damage as I can off. So I'm thinking here, it's probably the best thing for me to use just to go for a free Facade. And I do that. He switches into the fortress to take it, which this thing is bulky as hell, bro. Like, this thing is not going to get broken easy. Like, it's going to take Charizard in order to break this thing. So I start realizing very early that Charizard is going to be pretty important to this battle again, right? Like, it's like with the last video, like, Charizard came in clutch, so I'm inclined to keep Charizard around, because as long as he is around, this thing really doesn't have an answer for me. So I go out into the Cradily now, expecting him to get up out of here. So he does Volt Switch, and look at that. That doesn't really do much. So now it really depends on what he wants to go out into, right? Like, he could very easily bring in anything that he really wants, and Cradily's not fast enough to really do anything. So my play probably is to, try to go for a Leech Seed, try to go for a Stealth Rocks, because he's a solid battler. He's going to be switching a lot. So, getting that Stealth Rock off would allow me to kind of punish some of these switches, which, I got to find a way to do. But it's going to be real hard for me to do that when he has things like this, right? Like, I know this thing can pack the trick, so I don't want to be, locked into something if he tricks me like a choice scarf or something. So I'm thinking here, what can I do? What can I go out into? What wouldn't mind a choice scarf, right? Like, I could very easily go out into Malibu here. Choice scarf for choice scarf really isn't going to bring him no momentum. And then I can get off a U-turn. Or he could just U-turn himself, So this thing can do a lot of things, and it's shiny as hell. It's so cool. And he decides to go for that U-turn, and there's not much I can really do there. He gets a crit too. So now I'm starting to see that, you know, I'm not really building much momentum. Like, I have to go for some pretty risky plays here if I'm gonna, you know, at least try to go for some stuff, try to make some clean predicts, just so I can get some momentum and just so I can get some things going here, because his team is a really good team. It's really well balanced, and he got some threats that I'm very familiar with from using them on my own teams. So, you know, the thing is, you know, with Flygon, you know, I'm packing the U-turn, I'm packing the Defog, I'm packing the Earthquake. Most of that not gonna really do much as long as he has certain mons around. So, you know, I have to make some next level plays, and I have to, you know, make some next level predicts here if I'm gonna come out on top here. So he brings in the Fortress, which makes perfect sense, right? Like, this Fortress is just a thick old boy, and, you know, I could very easily just try to go for an Earthquake here to try to break this, but if he then brings in the Swellow, I'm in trouble, right? So I really don't want to lose my fastest mon. If he does go out into something, I go for the Dragon Claw just to see what he wants to do. He decides it's now time to get up his spikes, and now that can be very dangerous, bro, because this is unfortunately my defogger as well, right? Like, this team struggles so hard with like hazards and hazard control and stuff like that, because the only mon that I have that can learn Defog or anything like that is Malibu, and it's Choice Scarf. So, you know, I have to really play around this if I'm gonna get some of those threats out of here. Now is the perfect time to probably go on into Charizard, because he's probably gonna want to try to get off another layer of spikes or something like that. So, you know, he can really do whatever he wants, you know, and it's gonna take a lot for me to try to get out of this hole that I'm in, right? This team really isn't built for mons that pivot a lot and do a lot of switching, a lot of predicting. So I gotta really think here. So now I'm thinking, okay, if I can bring in the T-Tar here, yes, he is bulky, like he is 100% a thick boy, but if I can start Dragon Dancing, getting up some Dragon Dances, getting up, you know, some crunches, you know, get some defensive drops, I gotta get like really lucky, basically. Like, so I gotta try to do something here, or I'm gonna lose this battle. So I decide to go out into T-Tar, and now I'm predicting him to go for a Volt Switch. So I'm gonna double back out. I'm gonna go back out into Malibu here, just so I can get a U-turn of my own, bring Charizard back in, and start getting some momentum again, right? That's my thought process with this whole play here, and for a certain extent, it does end up working, because he goes for the Volt Switch like I predicted him to, and now I can basically just go into U-turn, right? Obviously, he's rocking the Leftovers, so, you know, there's not much I can really do that's gonna be able to do much here. So now I take the time to just defog. So this is the perfect opportunity to get those spikes up out of here, bring something else in, and now I can start working against this guy. So I'm gonna have my work cut out for me here, because now obviously since I'm Choice Scarf, I'm locked into Defog. But that's fine. I'm gonna keep going for this Defog, because my priority is to not have him get up any of his hazards. So I'm gonna keep defogging. As long as you keep spiking, I'm gonna keep defogging. We're gonna go back and forth here, because I know you can't touch me with that Volt Switch. So you know, I'm not too afraid of this. Now that I see he's going for the spikes a lot, now is my time to get into Charizard. So I'm gonna go out and get into this big Charizard here and start putting pressure. That's the biggest thing I can really do, because he really doesn't want to stay in on a Flamethrower from this. I get the switch right, because he does end up going out, and he brings in his Blastoise, which is a problem in and of itself, bro. Like, I could very easily lose my Charizard here, but I'm thinking, you know, I have to go for some risky plays. I'm gonna go for the Air Slash, see if I can get a flinch. You know, I am faster, so, you know, there's not much that he's gonna really be able to do. And of course, he pops the Shell Smash. So now I'm thinking, okay, I'm in pretty big trouble here, because if he goes for a Surf, I could very easily go out into Cradily. That's totally fine. But what if he goes for an Ice Beam, or goes for a, you know, a Flash Cannon or something? I can't live too, right? I have to have Cradily in clean for me to be able to beat this Blastoise. Like, I faced Blastoise before with this Shenane, so I know that I can beat it 1v1 as long as he doesn't get 2 Shell Smashes up. So if he gets 2 Shell Smashes up, game's over. There's nothing I can really do. But if he decides to go for a Surf here or an Ice Beam here or something like that and kills this, I can bring in Cradily for free. So I decide to let Ursaring go down here. Sorry, buddy, you definitely didn't do much this battle, but I will try to use you again and get you some viability here. So Ursaring is gone. Now I can bring in Cradily, right? And I know from full he can't beat me. This Blastoise would have to have 2 Shell Smashes for him to beat this Cradily 1v1 at full health. So I know that I can go ahead and get this big Giga Drain off and cap this Blastoise. And that's probably the biggest thing that I could do to probably start swinging momentum. Getting this thing up out of here, bro. Go away. So that's what I do. I go for this big Giga Drain, and you know, obviously Blastoise is not gonna be able to do much to that. So he can very easily just go for an Ice Beam, which I believe is his play, right? That you could go for the Ice Beam, you could go for the Flash Cannon, whatever you want to do. I know I'm gonna live it. Like, unless I get frozen, which I'm praying for here that I don't get frozen, which I don't. Go for this big Giga Drain, and I knock you all the way out. So goodbye Blastoise. Thank God that thing is gone, because that was a huge threat to my team. So now he can pretty much go out into anything, right? Like Cradily is at a level of health where he's not going to be viable against much other mons, right? Like, I really should, you know, try to keep this around because he still has that Gastrodon, right? Like, as long as he keeps around his defensive core, I'm having a tough time just kind of breaking through some of these mons. And that's one of the biggest struggles with this team, is that it just doesn't break well, right? Like, in order for me to break, I have to take that turn to get up a Dragon Dance with T-Tar or get up the Swords Dance with Ursaring, and it's not going to be a fun time if their mons are super bulky. So this team really wasn't fit to battle this guy. And out comes the Magmortar. So I know that I need to keep Shanae still around because of that Gastrodon, so I decide to go out. And now I'm thinking, okay, I can probably start getting some momentum switches off, because I can go out into T-Tar here and get up the sand. He's not going to want to appreciate that, and he definitely doesn't want to take a big earthquake from this. So he goes for the Focus Blast, but misses, which is great. I'm not too sure, honestly, if it would have killed. You know, I don't really know the spread, plus with the sand, I get the special defense boost, so I'm not sure if it would have killed. But I don't want to take that smoke, bro. I don't want no trouble with that. So I decide to go out into Slowbro here, because even if he hits the Focus Blast, it's not going to be able to do much against me. When I see him bring in this Fortress, I'm like, okay, I could very easily just stay in Slowbro here. But as long as he has the Gastrodon around, like, I can't freely go for Scald, right? Like, normally Scald would be my play, because if I could get the burn on this, at least it would like nullify the leftovers. But I really can't do anything like that, right? So I need to get off as much damage as possible. So I decide to go off and get this this big Psychic off into whatever is gonna come in. You know, obviously the Volt Switch not gonna do too much to Slowbro. Plus, once I get up out of here, I'm gonna be able to get that health right back up with the Regenerator. So I'm not too worried about that. My play 100% is to get this this big Psychic, because as long as that Gastrodon is wrong, I can't Scald for free. He's gonna get that Storm Drain, and I don't want that, right? So I have to Psychic here, and that's exactly what I end up doing. My opponent's probably pretty much thinking, okay, what can he really go out into? He's probably predicting me to go out into, you know, into another mon, or go for a Scald. So he can really bring in anything. He decides to bring in the Ferret. And this thing has been one of the biggest thorns in my side this entire battle, bro. Like, this thing is so fast. You know, he's most likely rocking the Choice Scarf, and I go ahead and I get this big Psychic off on it. So that's a welcome sight. This thing getting down to half with that Psychic. So I could very easily stay in here, you know, like probably go for like a, you know, like a Thunder Wave or something. But I don't want to take unnecessary damage from the U-turn and have to really deal with that. He does have the special defense drop, so I know he's most likely going to U-turn, but it's all about like what can I bring in to bring in some momentum here, because the last thing I would want is for him to like trick me a Choice Scarf and I'm locked in with Slowbro here. So you really don't want that. Slowbro is at his best when he can decide what he wants to do, because he's slower. So I have to switch out here. It's all about what do I switch out into, right? Like, if I go out into T-Tar here, if he gets off a switch and I get the Choice Scarf, that's actually going to be to my benefit, because now I wouldn't have to worry about getting that Dragon Dance up to be faster. I would be immediately faster, but I decided to go out into Charizard here because even if he U-turns, I'm going to resist that, and now I'm going to be a big threat to whatever he decides to come in. He could bring in the Gastrodon, he could do whatever he wants to do. I should be able to, you know, get some momentum with this Charizard in here now. So I have to really start breaking these mons, but in comes, I believe, his Swellow, which is a huge threat to this team. Like, I've used Swellow before, and I know how powerful these mons tend to be. So as long as this thing is around, I can't freely Earthquake. I lose to a lot of mons because of just how powerful it is with the Guts ability. Like, this thing is an ultra threat, bro. Like Swellow is a beast. He's a dog. He's a problem, bro. Like, he got that dog in him. I could very easily go into Shanae here and let this thing go down, you know, but that's the only way that I'm really thinking to beat the Gastrodon. So I don't want to do that, but honestly, that's probably going to be my best play here. Like, I know that I won't be able to live if he goes for a Facade or a U-turn or something like that. Like, he's going to do a lot of damage to the rest of the mons that I got, and I have to switch. I cannot let Charizard go down, because if he does, I will not be able to break that fortress at all. So I decide to go out into Slowbro here because he's my physical wall. I'm thinking, okay, I could probably live whatever he wants to do here. He goes for a big Facade here, and look at how much damage that does, bro. Like, look how powerful this Swellow is, bro. Like, commends to my opponent for using this thing. This thing is a freaking beast, bro. So I'm gonna die to the U-turn. Obviously, another Facade will kill. So I decide to go out into Shanae because I still see some viability with this Slowbro if I can get Gastrodon out the way. So that's my only thing here is now, you know, I'm taking the spikes damage. It's not going too good for your boy. I'm not having the best battle here. Shanae goes down, and now what do I do, right? The saving grace is that he is going to be hit by the burn, which is fine, but if he has Roost, that's just gonna nullify all of that. So I have to go out into Malibu here, and I believe a Dragon Claw would be able to kill this thing. So I know he's probably not gonna want to lose this thing, so I decided to go out into and get the U-turn off just to get a little bit of momentum, because I still have some mons here that could really come through clutch in this battle if I could just get some switches to go my way. Now that the 3-minute mark is up, I have to start making some more risky plays because I may lose this battle if I don't really think clearly here, right? So I bring in the Charizard, and now I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna go for this obvious Flamethrower. I don't know if he wants to stay in with this, but if he does bring something else in, I'm gonna get the big damage off, and I'm at least be able to get the burn, hopefully. So I decide, okay, if you stay in, fine, you're gonna lose this. If you go out, at least I'm gonna get some big damage off, right? So he goes out into, obviously, his his special wall here, the Gastrodon, and this thing is thick as hell too. So I go up and get this big Flamethrower off on it, and it doesn't do the most amount of damage, but I do get the burn. And that is really important because now it's pretty much gonna nullify his leftovers there. Like, the burn on this thing is great. I know that I can't stay in, and obviously if I had the Cradily still around, it would have been even better because I could have just brought that thing in. But with the mons that I have left, the best play for me to do is to go out into this T-Tar because, for one, I'm gonna be able to get off this this big sand stream here, and that's gonna at least bring up my special defense. And this thing is not the best physically, so this thing don't want to start taking crunches. This thing don't want to start taking stone edges or earthquakes or anything like that. So I could very easily play that to my advantage. From the level of health that I'm at, you know, if I can cap this thing, get a free turn of leftovers, get back up to health, you know, that'll be very beneficial. And besides, this thing is burned, so, you know, he's not gonna really be gaining back the most amount of health with that leftovers. So I could easily just go for a big crunch here, and that's exactly what I'm gonna go ahead and do. My thought process here is I have to get this up out of the way. So if he wants to stay in, go for like an Earth Power, go for an Ice Beam or something, that's fine. We only got 60 seconds left, so I go for this big crunch here. It does a pretty good chunk of damage. It probably does like 27%. So now I'm thinking, okay, I could probably break it, you know, if I get a Dragon Dance up. So I'm gonna go for this Dragon Dance and start trying to go for breaks on this. And that's exactly what I end up going ahead and do. I go for this big Dragon Dance and get up to +1 here, both speed and attack, which, you know, depending on what that move that he clicks is, I mean, he probably just gonna Volt Switch up out of here, but that's just gonna put me in position here because now I can just go for a big crunch. And he shows me the Gyro Ball, which is friggin' insane, bro. Look how much damage that does. There's 20 seconds down on the timer, bro. Like I could just crunch this thing and lose the T-Tar, but now I gotta think about preserving Mons because I don't wanna, you know, lose this battle. I don't know, you know, which way it's gonna swing, but I decided to go out into Slowbro here just to take this this obvious heavy slam here. And that's exactly what he does, bro. But the timer does run out. You know, I felt like I could really get some, you know, momentum off if there was a little bit of a longer timer. So for the new game, for Scarlet and Violet, I really hope it's at least a 45-minute timer, guys. But that's the battle. I definitely appreciate it, man. And I will absolutely hit you up when I upload this. So I greatly appreciate the battle. Thank you guys so much. And if you haven't done so already, please take the time to rate, comment, and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. It's been your boy, and I'm out. Peace.